Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be Chosen's Corner featuring Cirilla. Cirilla is a community manager for Plarium and Raid Shadow Legends. We're just going to be having a casual discussion, everything from a little bit about her and her background and how she got into the gaming industry and working there at Plarium, what her kind of daily normal job life is like, and what kind of her responsibilities are there within Plarium in terms of relating to the community. We're going to dive into, possible future content, when and what you can expect kind of in the game. So yeah, we're gonna bounce around to a few different topics, and I am super excited to sit down and talk with her, so let's get into it. Alrighty, and now I am joined by Cirilla. How are you doing today?
Great, thanks.
Awesome.
How are
And
you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So I've got my coffee here. It's morning for me, but it's about dinner time for you, isn't it?
I'd say it's about nighttime for me.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's like 7 or 8 p.m.
It's about, yeah, 20 to 7,
Oh, okay. Okay.
but it's completely dark outside, so we can't really say.
Yeah, I can see that. So are you like is this your normal like work desk?
Yeah, that is. I can even show you my Geralt
Oh, okay.
and my Cirilla, but she's a little further away. I can I can show you my cactus.
Oh, okay.
It's not been feeling pretty good lately, but yeah, that's where I work. You can see the Christmas tree
Yeah, yeah,
in the back.
very cool. Okay. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up? And how did you end up here?
Yeah, just a little bit, because I don't think that people are that much interested in hearing about me as much as they would be hearing about the news in the game and stuff like that. But yeah,
Gamers aren't that savage, all right?
you should read Discord once in a while.
I'm sure you hear it a
Um,
lot.
yeah, well, I live in Ukraine, as you guys know, and the the whole team that works on the project on the game is in Ukraine, in Kharkiv. The whole the whole cycle of the of making the product is in our office here. I was born a little like not in this very city, but probably 200 kilometers away in a very small town. But that's again not really interesting. How I ended up in Plarium is kind of a coincidence. I worked for another IT company before that, and my friends told me about Plarium, and at the time, it was about 3 years ago. I had no idea what it was, what the gaming world was about because our company was dealing with like hosting and domain names and SSL certificates, stuff like that. So I only sent my CV. What do you call it? A CV?
City?
Um, the application that you send for you can
Oh,
cut this
resume. Resume?
resume.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
I was
yep.
thinking about that, but then I remember this word CV, um, uh, like C and V. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
cut you can cut this out. But
That's all
so
right.
yeah, I sent my resume um, just because they did it, like, and I did it just to follow them. And I didn't play any games at the time. Well, of course, when I was growing up, I played all the stuff that all teenagers, like at least in Ukraine, played. So it was like Need for Speed and Sims and like Quake, um, GTA. What else? Indiana Jones, all those like Lord of the Rings stuff.
So you mainly played like console games?
PC games.
Mainly PC?
Yeah, I didn't have a console. I still don't. I'm hoping to get it one day when I'm all grown up and like settled. But yeah, it was like a big transition for me. I had to plunge into the whole gaming world all over again, remember what it's like, and eventually come to love it. But that was a really happy event for me because I'm really content with where I am now and how things turned out to be.
Okay, gotcha. And what are your daily duties? Like a normal day, you come to work. What's expected of you? What do you do kind of throughout the day?
Well, okay, that's a childish thing, but whenever I hear the word duties, I remember this episode from Friends. I don't know, have you watched Friends?
Yeah, I've seen almost every episode.
Yeah, and the one where Chandler is interviewed for a job, and his interviewer says something about his duties, and it sounds really funny. But yeah, I usually laugh when I hear that.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Side story. But what I do daily is I come to work usually an hour before it starts. It's just my thing. I like to read some, catch up on some news, like read Reddit, even though we don't work with Reddit directly. But I know that it's a big community and a lot of interesting things are posted there. I just really love this source. I don't only read about Raid there, but about other stuff too. So then I have my coffee. It's like inalienable. Is it a word?
If it's a word, I don't know what it means. But
And that is a made up word. But it's a vital part of the day that I have my coffee so that I can function normally.
I think it's a vital part of the day for a lot of us.
Yeah, for a lot of us, but I don't think it works that way, that you feel incomplete and out of place completely if you don't have it. But yeah, it's an addiction for a lot of people right now. So again, return into the working day. We then have our meeting, like all the working people have meetings in the morning, like office workers, I think. We just talk about our tasks that we're going to do throughout the day. Then we, of course, before doing all of that, I go to the chat with our beautiful moderators and say hi and ask how their day went. Well, if you were there more often, you would know that.
Okay, we're not going to turn this into an attack on me, all right?
Yeah, just because you're the one recording the video.
That's right.
Yeah, so I usually read all the conversations that they had after I left the office the previous day, just to catch up on stuff and to make sure that there are no urgent things that I need to attend to this very second. And if there are, I take measures. So then we read the forum, the Discord channels related to the game. Also, well, of course, we play the game the whole day. It's also a very important part that I mention it here, is that absolutely everyone who works on the project plays the game, starting from the top management. And and in like our department in community management, people that work with players directly. If you don't play the game, you simply don't work in the project. And we are very like competitive and passionate about it. This is what I have to say. It's not really related to my work duties, but I just thought that I should mention it.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome that you guys play the game. Do you, just a side question that I'm kind of curious about, because you mentioned that, do you all spend money on the game? Or does Plarium like help you with resources, or like how does that work? Are you allowed to say that?
That's a tricky question. But yeah, I'm definitely allowed to say that. We don't have like any perks, any discounts for in-game offers. If we want to buy a pack, we have to pay the full price, and that's the only fair way. I used to spend quite a lot on the game, and people working in my department knew that about me. There was actually a funny story when we have this tradition to give something to the person having his or her birthday. We like pitching and buy something dependent on what he or she likes. And this year, well, actually it was last year, I was given a certificate. Like my friends from the department pitched in and gave me this sum of money that could cover a pack in the game, like a pretty big pack. They printed out this like fake certificate, but transferred money to my card, and I did buy a pack and opened the shards. I didn't get any legendaries, and I only got epics, and they were like duplicates, but I still pretended to be really happy about it. And yeah, and I felt great because like that's what that was what I really wanted for my birthday. So yeah, it was a very nice gesture. And yeah, so we don't have like any major free stuff given our way to help us with the game, just because we wouldn't feel really comfortable with that. It's like when you get everything for free, what's the point then? So yeah, I used to spend quite a lot. Then I started to save up for buying an apartment, so I had to quit. And I eventually told my mom about my spending habit in the games, and she was like shocked. So then I decided to go free to play. And the very last pack that I bought in the game was this Black Friday deal. And I'm kind of proud of myself for that.
That's funny. I think a lot of people can relate, and I think someday there's a future for you in being a content provider, because you're already good at opening shards, getting nothing but duplicates, but acting like you're happy. So you've already got that part down.
That's right. I'm training for that.
Yeah, no, that is surprising. I guess I would have thought that you guys would get like a little discount or get like special packs or something. But I do like that perspective, because you're right. If you get everything for free, you're not going to be able to relate to the normal player. You're not going to understand.
Yeah, that's correct. And you wouldn't appreciate your spent resources and time and effort as much. Like I helped with testing some feature back in the beta version, I think it was, and we were given access to our test servers where I could get any legendary I wanted. I could get any set of artifacts that I wanted, and I could open like 3,000 sacred shards. I still didn't get any legendaries, of course, but
oh man,
I'm just kidding. I got a lot of legendaries, but that wasn't really satisfying, and that account felt alien to me, because I had like my little precious, weak, small account that I brought up from the very beginning, from the very first steps, and that one was dear to me.
Yeah, no, I can totally relate to that. So what is the level of your account? Like, are you max level 60 with, you know?
Well, of course, I have been level 60 for over a year now, I think.
Oh, wow, okay. And then,
But,
so how much damage you do
we started
on the
playing
clan
in
boss?
That's can I not answer it? Well, yeah, I have theoretically, I know how to redo my whole team, and what the correct steps would be to increase my damage, my current damage, but I simply don't have enough time or resources right now. So we have been concentrating on the 5th clan boss in our clan, and like the max damage that I can deal right now is 23 KP.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was on auto, so I'm kind of proud of that.
That's very good. 23 mil auto on Nightmare. That's pretty good.
What's your highest damage?
My personal best is on Ultra, and it was like 30 million on auto.
That's cool.
But yeah, I don't know. I just hit that recently. And I have like double counterattack, Martyr, Valkyrie, Bad Alcazar. What team do you use? Do you know what champs you use right now?
Yeah, I have Nethril, Juliana, Skull Crusher, of course, Steel Skull, and Tyrell.
Okay.
Did I say correctly? Yeah.
Yep.
I also alternate Steel Skull with Nicholas, but I still have to work on him. He needs much more speed.
Okay. And do you all have like a clan there in like your department?
Yeah, that's also an interesting thing. Our clan is composed like half, 50% is people from my department and from our office in another city, and the people there are the ones that work in the support team, technical support, I mean. But we're all friends, and we kind of started this clan. But then the other 50% is just regular players, mostly from Ukraine, from different cities in Ukraine and towns. And we have known each other for a very long time, and we have this really close connection to each other. We communicate also, apparently, like obviously not only in the game, but also in a side messenger. And we all know each other. We know that someone has kids, someone has cats. Like we share pictures, different stories. We don't only talk about like game stuff there. I think it works the same with a lot of clans. Is that like that for you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, in my clan, for example, yeah, we've all known each other now for like 10 months, 1 year, and yeah, you end up, you know all about their life, and you talk about. So that's kind of the cool thing about gaming is, yeah, you start to know each other because of a game, and then you kind of grow as friends, and you start to kind of develop relationships with people and learn about their lives. So yeah, it's definitely the same in my clan.
Yeah, I also have this little dream of organizing this get together for our clan, or for even some other clan. Maybe there are stuff like that already happening, but we just don't know about them yet. I mean, we have that in our strategies, like, the games that have been ours for a very long time, like Stormfall, Sparta. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I've heard of most of the Plarium games, but
Yeah.
full disclosure, I've only ever played Raid.
Yeah, I get it. So the players that have been playing those games, they organize all those get-togethers with their clans, and they send us photos, and we send them flags, and we exchange different things, write articles about them, and that's really cool, and that's really like uniting for people. So I was planning on doing that last year for our clan, but all this grown-up stuff, like usually people have to really be pushed towards that.
Yep.
But we will really try to do that.
Yeah, that's great. I'd love to do something like that someday, have a little get together, but it's really hard because when you're in a game, a lot of times you get people from all over the world, or at least I do. But what you said is cool about yours. It seems like it's a lot of local people, so it's a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, it's in the limits of the country, like within the limits of the country, so we can all like just arrange this whole thing and gather up enough willpower to actually make it happen.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you and your department get any input on like game design, or is your job specifically kind of focused on community management?
I'd say that those are closely connected. The whole community management part presupposes kind of maintaining this close relationship, I would say, of the community and the company. And the company, I mean game designers and developers and all the people that work on the project, on working on developing the whole product. So we usually pass back and forth the feedback, collect all those suggestions, recommendations that players give us, and forward them accordingly to the game design department, to the guys. We have this practice of going to their department and like telling them about some urgent problems that are happening in the community, about some really painful subjects that have been brought up by players and need to be attended to. I mean, like, we don't ourselves take part in the game designing sphere, but I think we help a lot with those suggestions that you guys give to us, and then we kind of communicate to the game design department. And there are a lot of specific stuff, specific things. Like, I mean, every Thursday we send a report, kind of a summary of what has been going on in the communities for the previous week. And if we are given some suggestions on like reworking Champions AI, we forward this suggestion like word for word. And the cool thing about it is that game designers in turn understand how important this is, and they take that feedback seriously and actually work with it. And we see the results. So like, yeah, you know how there is this flash mob in Discord with changing people's nicknames to fix Septimus?
Yep.
I don't know if you've seen that. Yeah, that's a big thing right now. So we asked our game designers to squeeze it to how do you say it?
Prioritize it?
Yeah, to give it a higher priority and to make it a part of the upcoming release. So and they agreed that if players think that it's that important, then that's what we should do. I mean, considering that we ourselves play the game, we would know it too. But the thing is that, yeah, you can cut this one out.
That's okay.
I kind of lost a thread of.
No, you're doing great. That's okay.
Yeah. So about the part about Septimus is covered. Yeah, what I was my message was that we made it clear that this thing needs to be dealt with as soon as possible because that's apparently a really painful subject for a lot of players, and that's what we need to do.
Yep.
And the game designers agreed, and they are going to shuffle things in the upcoming release so that they could squeeze in this specific fix. And there are a lot of like examples like that. I was going to use this video, sorry, Brad,
That's
for
okay.
delivering the message that we're actually very close with our production team. We communicate with them all the time. We collect your guys' feedback and share it with them. And actually, going back to the whole streaming video subject, all of our employees watch YouTubers' videos, content creator guys' videos on different subjects. There's even a belief that in order to become our game designer, you have to name all the big ones, like streaming guys. You have to know everyone by name.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, you're not going to get the position.
Because they don't think you're paying attention to the game enough.
Yeah, yep, that's right. I know that the guys in the game design department, they get at least an hour of their time every day for surfing our forums, for reading Reddit, for catching up on the news in Discord. And so they do know all that is happening in the community. And then we back that up with our regular reports every Thursday. If there is some pressing situation, we don't have to wait until Thursday to forward it to the game designers. I usually get very emotional when I see players reacting negatively to something. And I pass this like passionate reports about what's been going on to the guys, and they know that if I start, like, they see the message like something's really typing, then they know that something has gone wrong or something needs to be taken care of. So we have like this very close connection with them.
Okay. Yeah, that leads me into a question I wanted to ask is like when the whole team kind of works on something that they're really proud of and they think is going to be great, and I'll just use like Faction Wars as an example, and then it goes live and kind of the community reaction is very negative, like, oh really, like we waited 8 months and this is Faction Wars. Does it kind of like drag down the mood of the whole like company? Is everybody like, wow, we thought people were gonna really love this?
Yeah, of course. That what happened actually with Faction Wars. We were excited. We were ourselves excited about its release, and then we saw that there were a lot of things that we had to keep working on and that we released it in a state that wasn't really yet completed. Um, but that also inspired us in a way, because we created a lot of different iterations that would help us to make this whole thing complete. And we thought that we would take different steps, like separate steps, to enhance the whole feature in some way. So first we decreased the level of difficulty for some stages. Then we monitored how players kept on playing on stages, and thought that we needed to make it even simpler, to make things even easier for players. Then we thought that we need to change the whole algorithm of how crypts open, like the regularity of their becoming available. Then we thought we need to do something about the rewards for faction wars, and that's what we are going to do. We're going to make them better, to add more rewards, and there's actually something really exciting coming up in this area, but I can't say yet.
Is there, well, on that subject, is there anything that you're allowed to talk about that would be exciting and coming up, or people would really like, or?
Yeah, actually, I was going to bring that up at some point. We had this great meeting with the game designers on Friday. We discussed a lot of suggestions on improving the game given by the players. My moderators helped me to collect all of those, and I thank you guys. And I wanted to say hi to all of the guys that work in my moderators team. I love you all, and you guys mean really a lot to me. Yeah, so we discussed a lot of things, and we are going to post a summary of that on Monday. Valkyrie is, I know that she was writing it yesterday at home because she wanted to finish it as soon as possible and publish it, because we know that uh, our players have been really hungry to learn what's coming up and what we are going to work on. So yeah, as you know, in 1.13, we're going to release this Battle Pass feature, which is going to bring a lot of new quests and new content into the game. I already announced the champions that are going to be rebalanced in 1.13.
Sorry to interrupt. Is it only those champions, like the 5 legendaries, or is there going to be rares and epics balanced as well?
As far as I know, for now, just those legendaries, because
Okay.
they do require a significant rework. I know that our guys have been working on Shamrock and all the variations of buffing him for a while now. The thing is that some champions just don't perform the way they do in the test environment. I mean, they don't perform the same way when they have already been released. And that's why there are not a lot of, but quite a few champions that we should still work on. But yeah, those 5 champions that I announced, is there actually 5 of them?
Yeah, I believe it's Shamrock, Cephalia,
Yeah,
Yannicka,
yeah,
Angar, and Foley, if I remember right.
yeah, that's right. These are kind of like the most popular ones on the list of demands. So we thought that we would review them really carefully.
Everybody who has Masha led is like rage writing a comment down in the comment section right now, probably.
Yeah, yeah. I already saw comments like that, but I have an explanation. As you guys know, Masha led and more to Makeup and Lord Chamford, they all are campaign bosses.
Yep.
Besides being regular champions, they are also campaign bosses. So we need to kind of separate those two like entities to make sure that we don't break the game balance in the campaign section when we buff the actual champions. Because if we buff this, the bosses will also become stronger. So we just need to technically separate them and work on their work on their rework.
Yeah, no, that's a very interesting point, because now that you bring it up, I'm going through the campaign bosses and I don't remember any of these being changed. So yeah, you're right.
Yep. So that's why we actually removed him from the list this time, but he definitely remains on the list for either 1.14. Well, I do believe that he is in plans for 1.14. But also, what else I can say about the things that are going to happen next? Right after we release 1.13, we are going to start teasing the things that are going to come in 1.14 almost right away. And I can say that all those, well, I can say this, all those hungry for more PvP content are going to get what they want in 1.14. There's going to be a lot of really exciting things, and we just need to wait a little bit more and we will see. But as a player myself, I know that what's coming up, and I would take my word on that. It's going to be really fun.
Okay, that's exciting. And can you give me anything else on the battle pass other than it's just new quests? Is it gonna be like a monthly reward, or is it gonna be like a season pass that you have to buy?
What I know is that there are daily quests and weekly quests, but that's what I can say.
Okay,
that's pretty much it.
That's fine.
I can say at this point.
Yep.
I just don't want to spoil.
That's okay.
Your appetite.
That's okay. And in terms of I get this question like 1,000 times a day, and I never know what to say. 1.13, is that like next week, or is that like a month from now? Obviously, you can't tell me what day. I know that, but is it like gonna be a week or like a month or?
I have this really great gift that someone actually offered me on Discord some time ago. Like when I'm disappearing into the bush, when I'm asked the question, and we just use it on the video.
Okay.
But the thing is that it's not that we don't want to share the information with you guys. It's just that we all learned it from 1.8, which was really
I remember
release. Yeah. I still get goosebumps when I think about it. We wanted to share with you, so we told you approximately when we were going to get it released, but then some factors got in the way and we weren't able to launch the patch when we planned to. And we got a lot of frustration and disappointment, and that's really understandable. I would feel that way too. That's why we don't really want to get anyone's hopes up about anything. So we're trying to be careful about giving any estimates. But I assure you that we are already working on like the final stages of releasing the next patch. And even though I can't still say the exact date, I'm going to say it's going to be soon. And I do hope that people on the other side of the screen don't hate me for that too much.
No, that's okay. No, that's acceptable. I understand. Has as a company when because you were there when they kind of first started developing Raid, has Raid been more successful or less successful than what Plarium thought it would be? Has it like overachieved as a game?
I can't really say what the hopes were in the people that started developing from scratch, because I know that they have been working on Raid for more than 5 years now. Like, I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
beginning from the idea and going through all those little tiny steps and bringing the game to the level that it is on right now. But I'd say that we are proud of the way it turned out to be, but we do realize at the same time that there is so much to work on still. And while this may be scary at some point, it's also very exciting because we have this clay in our hands that we can work with, and to understand that we can make it as fabulous as we can, and it's all in our hands. So yeah, I'd say we are definitely proud, but that doesn't mean that we can stop, because you know and we know that there is still so much to work on.
Yeah, and in the gaming landscape today, everything changes so fast.
Oh yeah, and I'm sorry for
No, no,
interrupting.
no, you're cool. That's fine. Yeah, if you're not coming out with content like every 2 weeks, people are like, "What's going on?" Where it's not like back in the day when you could release a patch once a year.
Yeah, we're actually thinking about releasing a feature one per day,
Yeah,
but that probably doesn't sound like a very good idea. But we do understand that it's a very competitive market, and we have to be really exceptional to stand out, to be unique on that market in order to be successful eventually. And yeah, I had a very good question asked yesterday on the stream with the Russian YouTuber. Uh, and it was something like, you know, that there are so many games of this genre existing right now, and they have like all these amazing features that you could also bring to Raid. So why don't you do it? Um, and it sounds really simple. Like, why don't we?
yeah, yeah.
Like, I mean, we need to understand that while we do acknowledge that all those things exist and that it would be really cool to bring them to our game too, anything requires time, energy, effort to make it happen. So we do have this list of all the amazing stuff that we want to implement in the game, but we don't have this magic wand. Uh, is it how you
Yeah,
say it?
yeah,
Wand? Yeah.
yep, yep.
To just wave it, and make everything come to life.
Yeah, because from like a gamer's perspective, it's like okay, something that's so simple and would make the game so much better, like a damage counter in the clan boss. It's like
Yeah,
you think like why can't you just add a clock to the clan boss in 5 minutes? But what you're saying is things need to be approved. things need, and any small change in the code of the game can have lots of effects that take time to kind of implement properly.
Exactly. You have to have this cooperation of a lot of teams to bring the smallest update, the smallest change adjustment to the game, and that all needs to be taken into account when you think about those things. But it's a good thing that you brought up the clan boss thing. Like, you know that we announced this damage counter coming in like the closest patches.
Yep.
But we also discussed this really present subject of nerfing clan hopping and unkillable teams
Yep.
in 1.13. While we're still going to do those things, we also think that it's very much possible that we will make limitless HP for clan bosses, so that people in clans can get their top chests without moving to other clans, fighting over clan bosses' HP. That we don't want it to be a subject of fighting anymore in clans, because we do know that it is a topical problem right now. So we were thinking about first releasing these changes, like the ones that we already announced, and then working on something, on some alternative, on something that would prevent us from not getting the top rewards in clan bosses that we have every right to get if we have developed enough teams.
Yeah, that's incredible news, because, like, in my opinion, yeah, that's one of the most pressing issues, is having clans fighting over, oh, you did too much damage, now I don't have enough to get my... Yeah, that's a huge deal.
Yeah, I know that, because like we have the same in our clan, and we can't deny it. But what I also want to say that is that there are going to be a lot more clan activities coming up, and we do know that the social side of the game still needs to be worked on, and we have a lot of plans in that area. Some of them we discussed yesterday, and the summary published tomorrow, that on Monday that is going to include those. So I'm not going to talk about them right now, but you guys will be able to read it on the forum. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thanks for that. That's good news. And one thing I do get asked a lot is there any plan for the campfire? Or is that just like an aesthetic in the game? Or
I'm actually interested in that too. And oh, I forgot to put it on the list for the day before yesterday's discussion. But I promise to find out.
That's cool. That's fine. Okay.
The Christmas tree has already been removed, right?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm in the game right now, and it's still there.
Yeah, that's right. But do you want it to be removed? Are you kind of tired of that? As I am.
I think, I mean, I don't know about tired of it, but I think the general rule is like taking down your Christmas tree like sometime in the, middle of January, by then, kind of. But your guys' holiday is a little bit different, right? Like,
no, they're pretty much the same, but we just are also...
Because your holiday vacation was later than like mine.
That's because I think we have this old New Year's Eve celebration on the 14th of January, but we don't really have it as a national holiday, but we still keep the Christmas tree up until then, at least. I know that a lot of people still have their Christmas trees in their homes, and a lot of them only throw those out like at the end of winter. But you see that Christmas tree in the back, and we have it up all year round. So yeah, I thought it was kind of depressing at first, but now I'm kind of used to it already. Can't even imagine our cubicle without it. I also wanted to, it's kind of like off the subject right now, but I do want to say, if I may, I have this t-shirt on, uh, and there is this story behind it.
Can you lift it up a little bit? Because on the camera,
Yeah,
it's a little bit low.
yep,
Okay.
that t-shirt that we made based on the art sent to us by our player and moderator, Krish. Hi. So he submitted it as a part of our fan art contest, and we loved it so much that we thought, why not make T-shirts with that print? So it's been a huge hit over here, like in our office. At first, it was like 5 people that ordered those T-shirts, and when we showed up in them, wearing them in the office, everyone was like, "I want one! I want one!" So now I think like the whole company is going to wear them, and I just wanted him to know that we all love the print and the T-shirts.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. Well, is there anything else you wanted to? I don't want to take up too much of your time here. We're getting close to an hour. Is there anything that you wanted to say before we end or anything or?
What I also wanted to say is that I know you guys get angry a lot, and there's usually a good reason behind it. I know that you guys want us to be more open about what we are preparing, about the dates of releases, of updates, and we do understand that. And we just want you to know that whenever we have a solid piece of information that we are sure we can share with you, we do it. We just don't want to be that guy that says something and then doesn't keep his word. So also I wanted to say that any changes, like I've already mentioned it in this video, any changes, any additions, adjustments do require time if we want to make them good. So we hear you, we hear what you say, we hear what we do know what hurts in our community, and we do work on those things. Even if you don't feel the effect immediately, you will see them later. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. Alrighty. So is your work day over? Are you heading home now? Then are you done at the office?
I wasn't even working today.
Are you
It's
just
my day off. Yeah.
okay? Well, hey, thanks for taking the time to sit down and talk with me. It was definitely a pleasure.
Thank you, Brad.
Alrighty. Have a good night. We'll see ya.
Have a good night.